Good afternoon, I am Adventure Argonaut. This is Staffer Case, some sort of investigation game. I haven't played it, so not quite sure what to expect. The reviews on Steam are quite positive, so it's hopefully a good game. Blood Omen wasn't. I didn't want to finish it. I was not enjoying it at all. And yeah, the tagline is something like Staffer Case, supernatural investigation, so I guess there's gonna be something supernatural in this, but enough with the blah blah blah. Wait, what's this? What's wrong with the kick chat? Looks a bit sus. Okay, there's something wrong with it. Let's see. Let's get another kick chat in case somebody actually appears other than bots and stuff there. Alright, that looks a bit better. So, new game. Because I did turn on the game earlier today to see that it works and stuff, and so yeah, you can, I guess, start with case number 1 or 2. Well, I guess we are not gonna be edgy, we're gonna start with case number 1. Backstage. Notrick, an assistant from a small town detective agency, receives a letter from Phenomena Bureau and heads off to London. Okay, it doesn't... Phenomena, so I guess it's like some magical and supernatural phenomena. That's how it sounds to me, the name at least. This game is a mystery game where you must uncover tricks behind a number of murder cases. Take notes for yourself, try to find the truth behind. Oh my god, does it mean I actually... London 1960X. So, October 30th, 3 o'clock. Ah, there's actually Japanese voice acting. Is it your first time? Or is this your first time? I'll try to find my notebook then. Like, does it mean that I actually... Like, there's no in-game notebook? See, that's one reason why I don't like taking notes, because my desk is always full of crap. And my notebook is not in the drawer where I was hoping it would be, so let's see somewhere else. Excuse me? Let's see this drawer. I can find some sort of notebooks here. I guess I'll just crack open this one. I have some notebook I bought a long time ago. It hasn't been opened. Just gonna use this. Can I find a pencil? Oh, no pen. All right. Excuse me. I was just saying, this is your first time in London, no? It is. Why do you ask? Check clues. What's this? To Notrick case of the Akimbo Investigations Agency. Case, how have you been? I'm the Englishman who visited the... just writing down on the notebook already. So, I'm the Englishman who visited your agency last Easter. Because it's you, I'm sure you remember my face. I didn't get to properly introduce myself back then, but the official title is Detective Chief Inspector of a certain government agency. The reason I showed my face at that old agency of yours is that I want to recruit you into Manor Affairs Division. I currently live in London, a city where ordinary investigations can solve where cases that ordinary investigations can solve happen every single day. Such a place is the perfect environment for talented lad like yourself to flourish. Notrick, what kind of a name is a Notrick? Let me be frank with you. I need a person of your talents. On the other side of that coin, you need an environment where you can demonstrate your talents. I even got your boss's permission for this. She opposed the idea at first, but in the end she understood that it was good for you. I hope you understand this is not a chance everyone gets. I look forward to receiving favorable response to my offer. Sincerely, Chief Inspector Burt. Detective Chief Inspector Burt, London branch of the Phenomena Bureau. So this is us, Notre Case, Manor Affairs Division, NA01, Investigations Detective. Okay. So it is, why do you ask? I knew it. How is it? How does it feel to take in all that London scenery for the first time? So it's a taxi driver talking. Well, maybe he's the killer. Well, it's just as astounding as they said it would be. The building, smoky haze, though I haven't seen Big Ben. Yes, indeed. She's important, Big Ben is. Though I'm afraid, young lad, you won't be able to get a good look at her from around these parts. Wait. She is Big Ben female. It's Ben. And it's also, you know, phallic object. Like, is it just an issue with the translation, or do Brits actually consider Big Ben female? Because all my life I've assumed it's male. After all, it's Ben. This racks my sanity, so let's do a save. No, this. Okay. By the by, that bag sure looks heavy. Planning to be here a while? I'm here because I received a job offer. I imagine I'll be living here until I get fired. Oh. Rather young to be working, you must be something else, huh? When I was your age, well, that was the height of the big war, I mean, back then. I figured taxi drivers in London would be the quiet sort. Did I grab the wrong one? What's the name of this new employer of yours? For another shilling, I'll take you right up to the front door of the building. That's quite alright. In front of the park will be fine. I mean, you're already paying for an expensive cab ride. What's another shilling? Oh, come on, don't be greedy. Most like yourself visiting London the first time try to find a way themselves, and before they know it, they find themselves lost in more ways than one, you know? He's pretty much forcing my hand here. If I keep turning him down, he'll probably just keep pestering me. Well then, I'll place my fate in your knowing hands. The name of the place was... What was the name of that agency? Phenomena? I believe it was written on the letter I received from that man calling him Detective Cheese Inspector. Cheese Inspector. I guess this is sort of like tutorial. Yes, someone posed a question, find the clue related to the question within the documents, then press combine clues. Select the document you like to check from the list below and to zoom on that particular document. Select clues you wish to use in the enlarged documents, then select combine clues button. If at any time you can't remember these steps, select manual button from the top right. Press right mouse button to pull your magnifying glass in order to magnify documents to see details better. Oh, okay. What is this one? I wonder if we have to find like some, you know, subtle stains or something later on. Like, you know, here we can see some sort of stains already, but I don't think that's gonna matter. So, Phenomena Bureau. So, company's name. Taxi driver asked for my destination. Yeah, so I guess this company name. Mr. Resolved, I'm a freaking genius. The Phenomena Bureau. I've heard people around here call it the Bureau for short. You know where the Bureau is located, right? If you could take me there, I'd appreciate it. Understood, sir. So he got more. Yeah, it was Kashikomarimashita, so it's like a more polite or something. Distance, I guess. Because he's, either the taxi driver is a bit afraid or something, or simply respects him. Yeah, the way he's speaking is much more like polite and stuff. What's wrong, sir? Something troubling you? No, it's just you got really polite all of a sudden. Do you just forget to mind your P's and Q's at times? London taxi drivers always caught around their fares as if they were the queen herself. Oh, I think I get it. Funny, really. Right when he heard me say the bureau, his attitude shifted. The bureau. According to the rumors I've heard, the institution's reputation is far from a good one. To come all the way to London after receiving a suspicious letter from such a suspect institution. I must be out of my mind. Yet, to be able to carry out an investigation in a city like this, well, that's been a lifelong goal of mine. We are here, sir. The grey building on the left over here, there is the London branch of the Bureau. Thank you, you said that would be 1 shilling. Where did I put the money I exchanged? You might want to check the front pocket of your bag. Well, he knows where we keep our money. Hey, Agent Doublehearts, when did you show up? Another Scooby-Doo mystery, indeed. And this seems like a... Well, no, it's not real Scooby-Doo, because this game actually has actual supernatural stuff, I understand, whereas Scooby-Doo doesn't. So this is a fake Scooby-Doo mystery or something. Front pocket? So, right there, how did you know? Such things shouldn't come as a surprise if you intend to stay in London for long, that is. Huh? What's that supposed to? Have a great day, sir. I do believe you'll find this city isn't half bad a match for you. How did he know? I guess he's paying. Logical. Phenomena Bureau, London branch. So took 10 minutes only in the car. So this is the bureau. This will be my place of work starting from today. Compared to the investigator's office back home, this place is just floor after floor straight up. If I tried to catch a glimpse of the top, I bet my head would be touching my back. Am I really going to be working at a place like this? It took me days to get here, but suddenly going inside is the last thing I want to do. That woman, is she looking at me? We definitely locked eyes, but she isn't saying anything. Or am I just imagining things? Nope, she's definitely still looking. Should I be the first to speak? No, because if she isn't... Red fins? You may speak first. Would you happen to have business with me? Indeed, I do. Then she should be the one to break the ice. I'm waiting for someone, and I do believe that someone to be you. A new recruit from the Akimbo Investigations Agency. Known for sticking a fountain pen in his curls. At least not fountain pen in his bumhole. That's... I guess he's good. He's not doing that. Height roughly 165 centimeters. Goes by the name Note. Well, something close to that, right? Death Note. My name's not Trick Case. You're a member of the Mana Affairs Division, aren't you? That I am. The name's Pandoria Redfins. The names in this game are like... I don't know. if I, scored games, gave them a score after that, I would deduct 1 point. Whatever system I would use, like whether it's 1 to 5 stars or 1 to 10 or from 1 to 100 or something, I would deduct 1 point for these names, at least if the same kind of conventions continue. Anyway, let's get back to the game. It's a pleasure to meet you. And the pleasure's all mine. I'll pass on the handshake if you don't mind. Because you're a disgusting wanker, I just know it. Huh? Now that I'm thinking about it, I do remember something about the British not shaking hands all that often. They don't? Don't take it the wrong way. It's just that I'm extremely reluctant to come into physical contact with you in any way. Oh, I'll come into physical contact with you, if you know what I mean. Wow, you're right. I almost did take that the wrong way. Maybe there's nothing wrong with the names, but our expectations. It's possible. Well, yeah, we don't know like how much of a fantasy world this is, but there's London, but there's magic or supernatural stuff, but the names like I don't know, like Pandoria. I think that's the worst offender here. Like Notrick is a stupid name, and his last name is Case, and this is Stafford Case. But I think Pandoria is the worst one so far. Mists of Pandaria. I guess you could say I suffer from misophobia. It's a bit of a bother, but you'll just have to put up with it. Misogynist? Well, just have to put up with it. I mean, is it okay to have a detective who's scared of germs? Streamer? Could this be me playing AI slop? Yes. Everything is AI slop until proven otherwise. Oh, you mean this game? I don't think that's like, I think this, like if you're genuinely asking if this is AI slop, I don't think this like is few years old already, I think. I don't think they had much AI slop yet then. Although I could be wrong, but I think this is like 3 years old or something, at least. And well, enough introductions. Shall we head inside? You have to follow close behind. The bureau is a bit of a maze. I don't want to have to report a child gone missing. There's something odd about this woman. As if, after all these years, I could still get lost. I think it's possible to get lost, if place is confusing. About that child gone missing. Maigo ni natta. Yeah, I'm lost. Who would make a building like this? No matter where I go, it's just the same hallway and same doors. Plus, there's not a floor plan to be seen. Maybe it's to confuse enemies, like, sort of like castles used to have that sort of design. I lost Miss Redfin's right at the entrance, but with this many rooms, how are they? There are exactly 0 other people wandering the halls. Wait, no way, is that a map of the building? Of course, you can't have a building this big without a single sign pointing the way. Makes me think of Silent Hill. What? What? What am I seeing here exactly? So was this some sort of lounge? Are these like stairs? NA01. That's our room then? Because it said that it's our number or something. I'm in England, right? Why isn't this in proper English? It's like code names. It doesn't seem that confusing yet. Am I the odd one out here? Has my hillbilly upbringing left me unfamiliar with the trends of the big city? Whatever. Now at least I can get back to the entrance. The Red Fins will probably be waiting for me there. This map, it's here because someone's able to read it, right? Then maybe the writing on here must be a unique code that only the employees here can make sense of. Then there must be some way for me to figure out where the office of the Manor Affairs Division is. After all, I'm an employee here too now. Let me have a look through my things. Certainly, there must be something enclosed in the parcel I've received that could be of some use. I need to select the information pointing to the location of Manor Affairs Division, then choose the place the information is leading me on the map. So, does it mean I get to go to the inventory myself to do that? Oh. Oh, okay. If I can connect these two pieces of information, I'll be able to find my answer. Okay. Just let me do it. One, when there is no question to answer, try to find two clues within your documents, then select Combine Clues button. 2, select document twice to pin it. Pinning a document allows you to examine two documents at once. Pinned documents cannot be unselected without first unpinning them. Documents with clues selected are automatically pinned. Is this right? See, I pay attention. Mystery result. The code on my employee ID badge is formatted in a strikingly similar way to the codes on this map. Also, the name of my department is written right above the code, Manor Affairs Division. Would that make these letters and numbers the unique code assigned to a division? Same code is written on this room of the map. And maybe that's the Manor Affairs Division. That certainly seems to be where it's pointing me. Seriously, was it the door right in front of me the whole time? I feel like I'm the supporting actor on a new TV show. Well, I guess I should head inside. Excuse me? Oops. Brian? Well, Brian. Thina? Is she the protagonist in case number 2? Maybe it was her? Hands in the air. Oh, I like the cut of her jib or something. Or I don't know, her attitude. Arrived at work and got raped at gunpoint. Manor Affairs Division. So just like that, I found myself here. Makes sense for a rookie. Your accent is rather unique. You're not from around here, are you? See, this guy seems to have a normal name. Brian. Okay, Thina is like short for Athena, I guess. That's a bit... Wait, I notice a Greek theme here. Maybe that's why? Because I'm the Adventure Argonaut. That's why I clearly chose this game. Because there's Athena and sort of like Pandora. No, I'm from New Mexico. I worked for a private investigator down there. So you see, American. New Mexico. Then perhaps you'd prefer a cup of my finest black tea on ice. Sorry, but could I get a coffee instead of tea? Yeah. Of course. It's been a while since we brewed it, so it's probably gone stale. Let me brew you a new pot. That's alright. Even stale is fine with me. I didn't catch your name. Caucasus Bry. Okay. Black tea and ice, get out of here. Yeah, that sounds disgusting, but Caucasus Bry. I was saying, like, this guy seems to have a normal name, but Caucasus is, and that's even the first name, it seems. Caucasus Bry. This is even worse than Pandoria. During our cases, I'm the man in charge of investigating the scene of whatever incident has taken place. Okay, I know how this game is gonna end. I'm gonna murder everybody because of their freaking names. Like, this is inhumane. Caucasus Brian. I can't get over this. Oh, thank you. Detective Brian. How should I put this? I'm sorry to be such a bother, but could you ask your colleague to put away her revolver? This revolver? You don't need to let it worry you. I'm just following protocol. So you're not going to shoot me? The name is Thena Hervenus. My main charge is interrogations. Just call me Thena. Okay, Hervenus sounds like an STD, right? Am I the only one who thinks it sounds like an STD? So maybe I don't want to get raped at gunpoint after all. Nice to meet you, Detective Thena, but again, you're not gonna shoot me, right? Would you like the honest answer? No? Sorry to doubt you, but until the detective sergeant gets back and is able to confirm our identity, we'll be staying just like this. The Bureau is strict when it comes to security. More importantly, I hope the coffee is to your liking. I wonder if it's drugged or something. I'm worried she sounds crazy, yeah. But you know, she's a kooky anime chick, so, you know. That's par for the course. In the spectrum of life and death, taste falls somewhere in the middle. Quite an abstract way of describing it. I actually find the description to be quite on the money. So, when is the sergeant of yours supposed to get here? Didn't you meet her outside a short time ago? I'm back. Meet Red Fins. No way. Then by sergeant they mean... Indeed, that's me. I mean, isn't that something she should have led with? How'd you find your way here? Of course, they're testing me. What does that even mean? What does what mean? How'd you find your way here? I went out looking for you, but I had no idea you'd find your way here before I could catch up. I found the place by comparing the code to my ID badge and the codes and the building's floor plan. Your ID badge? Oh, you noticed the department codes. But why are you sipping on the cup of coffee at gunpoint? Taste falls somewhere in the middle between life and death. Ah, yeah, I have no idea. That's why my brain sort of ignored the whole phrase. Yeah. Taste falls somewhere in the middle between life and death. Well, actually, it's, you know, it's a tautology or something. It means nothing because that's usually where tastes fall somewhere between those 2 points. I was just about to bring that up. Looks like you're being cleared of suspicion. Excuse us for that. Oh yeah, sorry. We just about held your welcoming ceremony and farewell ceremony at the same time. Well, there's a joke I can laugh at. Sarge, this is all of a sudden. I haven't heard a word of the new recruit joining us. I only heard a word 20 minutes ago myself, from the detective chief inspector no less. Of course, I wouldn't expect any difference. Still, we should be thankful for the extra hands on deck. It's just been the 3 of us for 2 years now. You've all had a chance to introduce yourselves, right? Our friend Note here is going to be joining our investigation team starting from today. It's no trick. No trick case. Right, I'll keep that in my notes. Call me what you will. Now that I'm thinking about it, we haven't heard about the most important thing yet. The most important thing? Something about your skill. What is it? What can you do? I can take notes. Dun dun dun. My skill? Well, I haven't really learned any special skills, and honestly, this is my first time leaving my hometown. I do have a license to operate heavy machinery. Maybe that'll be some help. Maybe it will. How do you drive a forklift? Or is that's not heavy machinery? I guess it's more like I don't know, a digger or something. You must be joking. I guess they wouldn't need that, huh? Heavy machinery? I'm just asking this to be certain. Look, Mr. Case, are you not a staffer? This is a staffer. No, I'm not. What? Is that gonna be a problem? I see. Well, that's less of a problem. And more like, you're fired. Oh, she got all Trump on our asses. How many asses do we have? Excuse me? Mana. So I guess it means Staffer has some supernatural abilities. Now we are still in the tutorial. The substance that twisted the laws governing this world. The strange anomalies that followed it in its wake were called miracles in one era, and magic in another. In the current era, such events are collectively referred to as phenomena. I really don't like this terminology of this, like, phenomena and the names. And staffer also sounds very boring. But otherwise, the story seems interesting. Among these phenomena, the one showing a marked increase in recent days is the mana-wielding humans known as staffers. The staffers are able to wield mana how they please from birth. Born with superpower, if you will. And in London, where you are currently headed, roughly 10% of the population are staffers. That's quite high, actually. Making it the city with the highest population of staffers. I think staffer, that's in thief games, right? Yeah, like an insult. Taffer. However, though it hosts such an eclectic mix of people, there is a force that allows London society to continue to function. An agency that manages and controls all phenomena, including those involving staffers. That agency is none other than the Phenomena Bureau, commonly referred to as the Bureau. Not Rick, I know it's in your nature to be unable to leave a riddle unsolved, so I won't try to stop you from going to London. However, a word of caution. You will see things there that you've never seen before. And one thing I'm sure of. That will include some things you'll wish you'd never seen. Dun dun dun. Staffer case. So we got fired in less than an hour or something. It's been a while since we've had some drama. I wonder if Note's on his boat back home by now. I am still right here. Oh, so you are. If you don't hurry, you're gonna miss your boat. I'm not going back. Plus, I took a plane here, not a boat. And why? Why are you suddenly firing me? It's just you're no staffer, so we don't need you. Sarge, that remark is somewhat misleading. Then, Brian, you can kick him out nicely. Mr. Case, have you heard word of what exactly our Mana Affairs Division does? From what I read in the letter I received, you are all get the cases that the normal investigators can't solve. That's precisely it. There are some among the staffers able to take the life of another human without leaving a single scrap of evidence. No matter how hard you try, a normal person could never hope to solve such cases. Cases revolving phenomena, we call such cases mana affairs. I had an affair with mana. And then got the STD Hervenus from it. When police realize they have a mana affair on their hands, they hand over the jurisdiction to the likes of us. The likes of us? Does that mean you're all... That's right, we're staffers. All three of us. I'm beginning to understand. The Mana Affairs Division is able to solve the cases that can't be solved through normal means. In other words, all of you are able to use your supernatural talents to investigate the crimes. The phenomena you would label supernatural talents, we call skills. Calling supernatural or magical takes it sound a bit cultish, don't you think? I see. When she asked about my skills before, that's what she is asking about. Skills. Yes, in italics. You're starting to catch on, huh? No matter how fast your brain might work, how well you drive heavy machinery, friend, there are just some cases that can't be solved through ordinary means. Yeah, the skill isn't that interesting terminology either, but like... Yeah. There are some staffers who go invisible, others who can teleport. You can't say with confidence that you'll be able to catch such criminals, can you? Oh, I see you made it all right. Pimp. You made quite a long journey, Mr. Case, actually. I guess that's Detective Constable Case now. He's the man who reached out to my old investigations office, scouting me out as an addition to this team of detectives, making him the Detective Chief Inspector, sir? So this is our first time to be able to talk face to face, huh? Good timing. If the chief insists on my being hired on, these people can do nothing to stop his decision. So these cretins saw the unsavory flavors of our capitalist might, Chief. What is it? Capitalistic? Whoa, how? Seriously, Chief, how dare you show your face after turning our job on its head like this? But of course, I've lost all expectations I've ever had of getting any sort of help from you. How about you just retire before things get even uglier? Chief, public opinions of you seem on the level of a coup d'etat. Look at a lot of you. I guess the rookie joining us has got you all worked up. Actually, I was just about to ask your intent with this one. Where exactly did you hire a new detective who's not even a staffer? Sergeant Redfields. Are you meaning to say you don't wish to take on Detective Constable Case? That's right. I could have used even the slightest hint of hesitation here. Let's try this out. You're all gonna give Detective Case here a test. A test? If Detective Case passes your little test, you let him on the team and accept him as an equal. And of course, if he fails, you can do with him as you please. How's that fair? How's that? Fair? Oh my god, we're gonna get the STD after all. Regarding the contents of said test, is that up to me? Do whatever you please. That kid's a genius. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say genius. Tina, you and Brian are in the middle of a case, aren't you? Huh? You're talking about the circus homicide. Hold up. Are you serious right now? That evidence you were telling me about before, show it to notes. I'm kinda busy. Looks like you all have your work cut out for you. Tell me how it turns out. Once again, making his escape after giving us a bunch of work to do. All of this is a bit chaotic, but if I pass the test, that means I'll be able to stay on, right? Okay, so you're gonna give me a test, right? What do I have to do? No. Oh, I override. There's not even like, do you wanna override? Because it was black, I thought it was empty. Oh my god. Accidental override. How can I live with myself now? Before we get to that, take a look at this document for me. Bureau file. Uri Geller. Uri Geller? You know, Discworld 2 had a Uri Geller joke, and now we have it again. What sort of document is this? Who's this a picture of? This is a bureau file. It lists off each staffer's supernatural abilities, laying out what skill they have. It's one of the main documents we use to investigate any sort of phenomena that might occur. Each and every staffer must carry around their bureau file with their identity card. These files are crafted from a material that can be forged, so if you interpret the information listed here correctly, you can understand what sort of skills the staffers involved in your case may have. Okay, I was like, how do you make the material that can be forged? Is it like, you know, it has a, you know, watermark or something? Or like that threat level called yellow. Range 2, so indiscernible object manipulation. So I guess it's like telekinesis, 2 meters, catalyst none, maximum object weight 20 kilograms. The information on this document is about Julia Geller. She's the person who found the body in the case we're currently investigating, one of our main suspects. Geller is a clown employed by the Trump Tower Circus. Wait, this is precisely where the murder occurred. Wait, Trump Tower. I wish I'd listened. Can we like replay the log? Can we replay the audio file? Yes. Yeah, Trump Tower to you circus. So wait. So is this game gonna, because this is the 60s. I don't think Trump Towers were a thing back in the 60s. And they also, I don't think they exist in the UK, so maybe this is gonna be evidence that Trump is a time traveler and, you know, we live in a different timeline. The victim was none other than the ringleader of said circus. His name was John Henry Houdin. Okay, that seems like a normal name. Like somebody sounds like Houdini, but you know. I'll give you all the details on the case later on, but first off, I'd like to continue my explanation of the bureau files. Under the staffer's name, we got the name of the staffer's skill written out. Geller's skill is what the bureau has named indiscernible object manipulation. What sort of skill is that? The name doesn't really spell out what that entails. According to statements gathered from those who know her, her skill allows her to manipulate objects through some unseen force, so telekinesis. Yeah, basically she's got telekinesis, why don't they just use that word? So why can't you just write telekinesis exactly? Do you think it's somehow more professional to describe her skills like this? We never do such a thing. And don't you think you're being a little harsh? There are over 1,000 staffers able to move objects without touching them in London alone. We have to take an academic approach to the naming because filing them all under such overarching words as telekinesis does nothing to distinguish the subtleties of their skills. You can usually infer what sort of skill a staffer has by the name listed on their file, though there are occasional exceptions like this one. So if you can't understand from the name of the skill like this one, you won't be able to understand what the staffer skill is. In cases like this, details about the staffer skill can be found out through the course of the investigation. Julia Geller has been using her skill to perform acrobatic stunts at the circus. So it was easy to find out that her indiscernible object manipulation equals telekinesis. If that's the case, I'm not sure why they even have these files, but anyway, I follow. Then how about we take a look at the bottom part? Threat level. The threat of each staffer is ranked by the risk posed by his or her skill. If they pose no threat, they're labeled unarmed. Okay, so it's unarmed bowie knife called an Estienne? It's tank, I guess. Okay. It's a weird kind of metric or like grading system, but whatever. If the risk of harm is that of an edged weapon, they're labeled Bowie. David Bowie. Ground control to Major Tom. If they pose the same danger as a small firearm, they're labeled Colts. The threat of the skills are compared to weapons. Staffers with a high threat level may have some restrictions placed upon them that could interfere with their normal life. Julia Geller is rated Cold. Does that really mean her skill is as dangerous as someone wielding a pistol? Next comes the skill's range. This shows how far the staffer's skill can reach. In Miss Geller's case, I see she can only manipulate objects that are within 2 meters of her. The catalyst section below shows that the staffer needs to use a particular skill, or what they need to use a skill. But in Keller's case, she doesn't need anything for her, so we'll just skip that. Last of all, we have a section to write anything of note about the skill that isn't included in the above sections. The info in this section can vary widely depending on the skill of a person's bureau file. So maximum weight is 20 kilograms, able to control 2 objects at once. Okay, yeah. Max object length 2 meters. Time sustainable 165 seconds. It's like almost 3 minutes. If the skills were about controlling something, we'd have information about the substance that can be controlled. If the skill were about creating something, we'd have info of what can be created. So we wrap up our investigation explanation here. Yeah, we're done. We know she's the killer because I don't know who was killed or how or whatever, but she's the killer. This information seems overly simplified. Aren't there any documents with a bit more detail on them? There are, but this is the limit to the info we're able to obtain at our current clearance level. Since the investigations department is still classified experimental within the Bureau, we don't have much in the way of clearance. I see, so what's the test that goes along with this? The reason I'm showing you Julia Geller's bureau file is because this woman is the prime subject in our investigation thus far. We have 3 reasons for thinking this. Now, let me show you the evidence we gathered on her, one item at a time. You have to look at this evidence and figure out the 3 reasons why we currently suspect Julia Geller. Got it? You want to find out if I'll be able to be of any help on the real case. What do you think? Up to the task? If I say no, you will switch the test to something else? Not a chance. Then I've got no choice but to do it. Though I didn't really want you to change the test in the first place. Good, then you're confident. You can use that confidence to get you back home. So that's okay from him. Let's show him this first. Is this a testimony? Miss Geller gave a statement. The name of the witness is Julia Geller, and the document seems to be explaining the circumstances of the witness finding the body. So witness statement, Julia Geller on finding the body. Statement, I was the first to find him there like that. I came to see him at 9 o'clock p.m. to bring him his coffee. Heartbeat. Does it mean she's lying? Well, if she has the telekinesis skill and they use like a polygraph, maybe she could manipulate it with that somehow. I know that sounds suspicious, but I didn't kill him. At first glance it looks like ordinary witness statement, but this part, this column, it says heartbeat. What does that mean? Oh, he's pretty sharp, huh? About the abnormal heartbeat column. It gives me a place to check when I detect change in the witness's heart rate. The witness's heart rate. If she notices it, then maybe, yeah, the suspect cannot use the cheat, because it's not like the polygraph machine. Much of the evidence collected by the Mana Affairs Division is acquired using the skills of the investigators. And this is a special witness statement written using my own special skill. My skill is precision vibration detector. When a potential suspect makes a statement, I use my skill to keep track of their pulse. Using skills to collect evidence and fill out documents. Then what's it mean when you record the witness had an abnormal heartbeat? When I detect an abnormal heartbeat, it's for one of 3 reasons. The witness is either in an agitated state, they're talking about something emotional like murder or death, or the witness is lying. I see, so you're like a lie detector. No, I'm way more accurate than those hunks of junk. You shouldn't say such things. Tina has a bit of a standing rivalry with lie detectors. Do not. That aside, there's one other part of this witness statement. Find and point out the section that's leading us to suspect her. That's the first part of your test. I was the first to find him like that. Well, that sounds a bit sus. Okay, let me give it a try. Choosing to show me this document, there must be some sort of falsehood recorded inside her statement. If I pay attention to the time when the heart rate is abnormal, I should be able to find a lie in her statement. However, lying isn't the only reason, the fluctuations in her heart rate, so I got to be careful. The false part of her statement and an abnormal heartbeat prove it. If there's some sort of contradictory information here, I'll be able to link those 2 things. So I guess maybe the time is wrong. Because it said that, if it's emotional, like finding a body, yeah, so that makes sense that she would have a heartbeat. But this one doesn't sound like an emotional statement or anything. Jean-Henri Houdin, the victim. Houdin was the ringleader of Trump Tower Circus. What's these recordings? Also, like, I was the first to find him like that. Is it solved? Mystery solved! Yay! This part of the statement is a bold-faced lie. Oh, that was a quick answer. Shall we have a look? Why exactly do you think this part is the lie? Pathetic. No, it's not like that. We don't know if he just got lucky. We can't pass him until we get a convincing explanation of why. True, if I have to explain my reasons behind the thought. The witness statement contains two instances of abnormal heartbeats. The second part where she visits the crime scene to bring the coffee, and the fourth part where she denies committing the murder. If the fourth part denying the murder were a lie, this would be an open and shut case. However, since she used the emotion-laced word kill in the fourth part, there's a high likelihood that her heart rate would spike anyway. In other words, it's hard to figure out the reason behind the abnormal heartbeat here. You detected an abnormal heartbeat, but that doesn't necessarily prove that this part of the statement was a lie. You catch on quick. However, unlike the fourth part of the statement, she doesn't use any sort of emotion-provoking words. And there's no part of that's worth getting worked up over. Yet you detected an abnormality in her heart rate, meaning this part of the statement is a lie. In other words, Julia Geller did not visit the crime scene to bring coffee to the victim. That's quite suspicious. No, maybe she brought coffee, but the time is wrong. Like now, why is he assuming this? That's right, you found our answer. Oh well, yeah, I guess if it's 9 o'clock, that's when the body was found, so I guess. Well, anyways, I also had my suspicions about Geller's statement and continued questioning the suspect. Here are the results of my interrogation. Another statement. Just from one look at the document, I can see your witness got very worked up. So, Julia Geller, her reason for visits. You're asking if I came to any business besides bringing coffee, or on any business besides bringing coffee. Why ask, are you suspecting me for this? Well, this is emotional. The ringleader, the victim, always took a cup of coffee at 9 p.m. After all, he normally stays out until morning the nights after performances. That's the only reason I was there that night too. So that's probably a lie. I had no other reason to visit the scene that day. So yeah. So clearly she had another reason, whether it's to kill or, I don't know, give him a blowjob. That's a different story. That's right. When a witness is excited or agitated, I detect strange heartbeats whether the statement is true or not. So we are unable to tell whether the testimony is true or not with this document alone. At times like these, we got to bring in other evidence. So I think I'd better take over the explanation from here. Don't go getting smug just because you beat me. Out of 3 of us, I'm the runt of the litter. I'm not. How was I smug? Plus, that wasn't exactly something to win or lose over. You already called yourself the runt of the litter, so why not accept it? Pathetic. Shut up! People always pick winners and losers. Hurry up, Brian. Show him the data you got. Alright, I guess I will. I do hate to judge others. But that was a problem I simply couldn't overlook. I hope you understand. Here you go, Case. Your second test. Trace photo. So he's like the investigator, the crime scene investigator guy. Footprints Hudan, footprints Gela. Victim's palm, strong impacts here. Handprint, gloved hand here. Impression square shaped. Footprints Gela. This must be a photo of the crime scene. The person slumped over the desk must be victim of the case we're investigating. Also, we are currently saying Julia Geller is a prime suspect, right? From the picture, the victim was the cause of death is blow to the head. What's all this green ink though? Those are the pieces of trace evidence left behind at the scene of the crime. Fingerprints, footprints, scratches and more. We got all sorts of forensic clues. My skills is to accentuate various clues so that others can easily see what they are. How handy. Using my skill, I can make records of the clues I find on the photos of the crime scenes like this. We can call them trace photos. A skill to find clues. Besides just staffers, this might be possible for anyone to do given enough time, yet perhaps it's not about finding evidence either. The time the trace evidence was left is written here too. Nice catch. My skill makes clues appear to shift color and brightness depending on how much time has passed. I then analyze all the information and determine when each trace was made or left. So he organizes all that information to produce these trace photos. That would certainly help out an investigation. Back to the point. This trace photo contains a piece of information that contradicts another piece of evidence. Let's call finding that contradiction your second test. Alright. Let's think. The information on this trace photo was found and organized by Detective Brian himself. There can be no mistakes on his end. In other words, if a document contains something that contradicts the trace photo, is the information on the document that's wrong. The information on this trace photo will help us find lies on other documents. Okay, let's put this here. So Hudan walked there, and Geller walked there. And so she's been twice. So yeah, she was like 7:30. And that's 6 is when she discovered the body. So she was there. Yeah, maybe she was giving him a blowjob. Victim's palm, so he slammed on the table as he died, presumably. And there's a gloved hand print. Is it on the cup of coffee? So wait, is he poisoned then? Impressions, and there's some square impressions, so maybe they stole something. So what's this? That's the only reason I was there that site to do. I had no other reason to visit the crime scene. So it's clearly because he visit. So this. And this. Isn't this the contradiction? Yeah, has to be right. No! Fail? That's not it. I should check the converse. I have no other reason to visit. Oh, is it this one then? Because I think I consider them basically same statement. Okay, that's BS. I think it's the same statement basically. Okay, I got it. You can take your time if you like. That's quite alright. The document contradicting this trace photo is this witness statement. Would you like to point to a specific part of the statement and explain what's contradictory about it? In the additional witness statement then I got, there's this one part that stands out. To quote Placebo, what's wrong with this picture? You mean the band? It's been a few decades probably since I heard any Placebo, so I remember Nancy Boy. That's all I remember about Placebo. It says, I had no other reason to visit the scene that day. Given Miss Geller's agitated state, it's impossible to judge the validity of that statement based on the abnormal heartbeat alone. However, by looking at this trace photo, we can see that this part of her statement was false. The trace photo clearly shows the footprints Miss Julia Geller left behind. One part is as Miss Geller said. We can see where the footprints were left. There were footprints left at 9 o'clock. If the statement that she had no other business with the deceased that day were true, those would be the only footprints she left at the crime scene that day. But that's simply not the case. There were another set of footprints left behind at 7:30. One set of footprints at 7:30 and one set of footprints at 9 o'clock. Miss Geller visited the scene of the crime twice that day. So her statement that she only visited a single time is clearly a lie. For Placebo are so forgettable they stick. Well, I haven't forgotten, even though I haven't heard their songs in such a long time. There's your contradiction between the two documents. What do you think? Am I wrong? No, that's indeed the answer. It wasn't the most difficult of problems, but you delved so far into this in such a short time. Okay, what's the third one? Have to figure out how he was killed. As you said, Julia Geller did visit the crime scene at 7:30. We questioned her about it, but she didn't say a word. The victim entered the room at 6 o'clock. Since the victim left no footprints leaving the room, we can safely say he was still in the room at 7:30. We don't know exactly what happened inside the room at that time, but it was certainly nothing to write home about. So that's why you all suspect Miss Geller to be the culprit. Well, there's that, but also Julia Geller is the only person who could have committed this crime in the first place. Huh? Take another look at the photo. There are no other footprints that approach the victim besides Julia Geller, right? But if he was poisoned, like where did the... Or no, is there... Yeah, because this coffee cup, it was there already like 7:40. Okay, well, let's see. We don't have enough information. So there are no other footprints that approach the victim besides Julia Geller, right? Yeah, that's clearly the case, though I do remember a set of footprints labeled Houdin. That's the name of the victim. He is the sad sap slumped over his desk in the picture. It's obvious we'd have the victim's footprints at the scene of the crime, right? Yeah, that's right. So let's think this through. Judging from the footprints we have on record, only 2 people entered the scene of the crime that day. The victim, Jean-Henri Houdin, and our suspect, Julia Geller. As you can see from the picture, a bunch of water was spilled at the scene of the crime. Geller stepped in the pool of water before approaching the victim. So, is that spilled? There's some plant here, and what's this thing? Well, okay, let's see. Why would she risk getting her shoes wet to get behind the victim? Obvious, because she got to get close to whack him on the head. But couldn't she use if she was killed with a baseball bat, she wouldn't have to walk. She could just stand there and use her telekinetic powers. Although we don't really know how strongly she can use them. And if you keep going, we'll have nothing for the third test. I sort of got carried away there, but I'll cut it out. Sorry everyone, I just couldn't rein in the fantastic reasoning skills of mine. So, what's all that mean for my test? Unfortunately, since our investigation is still in progress, we got no more information to show you. So, until our investigation continues, we have no choice but to stop the test. What? Sarge, if I may change the subject for a moment. This case, I don't think it calls for further investigation. What do you mean? At the current juncture, we can say with near certainty that Julia Geller is our culprit. Rather than pressing forward with further investigation, let's hand this off to the police and turn our focus to other cases. Oh, I definitely agree with you on that. We're practically drowning in cases we haven't even touched yet. Well, I can't agree with you all on that. It's quite natural to point the finger at Julia Geller as your prime suspect, but I think Detective Thena overlooked a piece of information during her explanation of the third reason for suspecting Miss Geller. What? You mean my rationale wasn't spot on? She overlooked something? What might that be? She did. Generally speaking, her logic would be correct, but since this is Julia Geller we're speaking of, yeah, I think it's the baseball bat floating in the air. We must say that Athena's logic doesn't hold water. So you found a hole in her logic? But would you mind explaining what that might be? This tape recorder has everything we said just a moment ago recorded in it. Print out the part that stands out to you. After you print it out, point out which part of the transcript seems odd. I just press this print button. So I select the part of the printed transcript that stands out and use it in connection with another piece of evidence. If I want to defend the argument, I'll say I support. If I oppose the argument, I pick oppose and connect to the piece of evidence that supports my opposition. Alright. So, recordings. Oh, print. So, oppose this. Choose a clue. Haha, mystery solved. I'm a genius. It's the part about Julia Geller risking her shoes getting wet in order to get close to the victim. You thought the reason she might have to do that was to whack him on the head, right? Right. If there's a puddle on the floor, you'd normally just take the long way around. No? Progress, yeah. Well, I think it was quite obvious, but why didn't they get it? Because we're the player character, and this is the first case, so it's gonna be quite easy. But her getting so close to the victim is something we can't really explain without assigning the action some sort of special reason. Right, I agree. However, she might not have approached the victim with the intent of killing him. What are you basing that assumption on? The suspect's skill. Her skill? Indiscernible object manipulation is a rather peculiar name, but you said it's basically just telekinesis, right? She's able to use it up to 2 meters away. For a person with the ability to wield such a skill, would she ever even have to approach the victim to hit him on the head? Oh! As you all said, such circumstantial evidence regarding the suspect approaching the victim would only add more suspicion to the accused, not accursed, under normal circumstances. However, that's not the case with Julia Geller. Our suspect wouldn't need to get that close to the victim. You're right. With her powers of telekinesis, she wouldn't have to approach her victim to hit him 100, no 1,000 times. I don't think she'd need to hit him that many times. She had no need to approach the victim, yet she approached him anyway. Assuming Miss Geller is the culprit, it's a rather unnatural action for her to carry out. As if things stand, we cannot conclude that Miss Geller is our culprit. Still, there's no way we can say for sure that our culprit used any skills. Maybe they forewent skills in favor of an ordinary blow. Yet, we can't say for certain that no skills were used either. Plus, you say the floor was wet, right? With wet shoes, you'd have no idea what sort of footprints you'd be leaving behind. In fact, Julia Geller's footprints being left at the scene of crime led both Detective Tina and Detective Brian to suspect Miss Geller. Would a person looking to commit a crime take that risk? Especially if she had means of killing the victim without getting close to him. It would be more odd for her not to use her skill. Dun dun dun. Logical. So silly. Logical. There are quite a number of staffers able to commit a crime without entering a room. It's true that Julia Geller is still a subject, but as long as there are doubts to be raised, I believe this case must remain open. I think you're right about that. If Geller wasn't our culprit, we'd be in a real pickle. I apologize for having brought it up. Recently, the amount of cases assigned to our department has increased remarkably. I must have grown impatient. We didn't worry about that now, though, right? After all, we got another hand on deck now. Sergeant, does that mean? Honestly, I was thinking I'd fail you and send you home no matter how you did on the test. You snake in the grass! However, you'd grown on me a little. That may be true for me, but are there any other objections from you two? He spotted a flaw in our logic. I can see no reason to object his joining up with us. Here, we would have to have a leg to stand on if we did. Would we have a leg to stand on if we did? Pandy, did you know our reasoning in this was so far off? Well, it is sort of basic line of reasoning in manner affairs investigation. So much so that ignorance of the fact borders on moronic. I apologize for being so much of a dimwit that I missed something so simple. I'm so ashamed of myself. I don't mean to cast blame. After all, even the best investigators sometimes end up hooked by the wrong hypothesis. The important thing is that we correct the faults in our logic. This is just a theory of mine. But what's more important than finding the right way immediately is the ability to turn around when you're on the wrong path. And Note just proved that he has that ability. So, we're a little late in saying this, but we welcome to the Manor Affairs Division, Note. No need for the pleasantries. The pleasure's all mine. Though you're right, it was a bit late. Well then, we'll have our welcome party later. For now, shall we get ready to head out? Head out? Where to? Where do you think? To continue the investigation. We're off to the scene of the crime, Trump Tower Theater. Okay, finally we get to the crime scene. All events take place in a sequential order, unless if somebody has like a time manipulation ability. The car is quite cramped. Well, this is annoying. There's a mountain of paperwork in here, so I've got this tiny space crammed up against the window. We're on the move, so I tend to keep all our case files in the car. But then one day I realized there were more files in the car than in the filing cabinet, so I just moved what was left in the cabinets to the car. The place where you're sitting now was originally used to store all the files of theft and robberies. I was quoting Shen. Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking this game bears some similarities to Shen, the murders on the Yangtze River. That was the name of the game. Like, except that, well, both are historical, and I guess I am gonna assume this is a Japanese game, even though I don't know for fact that because they're speaking Japanese. So both are Asian, and it's part of it at least takes place in London, and it's historical London. But of course, the big difference is that this has supernatural stuff, and that didn't. I'm pretty sure seats were originally created for people to sit on. Throw out any stereotypes you may be holding on to. In investigations where manner is involved, you got to think outside the box. That's a lovely turn of phrase, but it doesn't do much to convince me on this issue. More importantly, we haven't filled you in on the details of the case we are investigating yet, are we? Have we? The file should be close by. It's case file A0136. Is this the one? Found it. The murder at the Trump Tower Theater at Dartford Road. I wonder if Dartford Road actually exists in London. The body was found inside the theater in the office of the victim at 9 p.m. on the night of October the 29th. The first to discover the body was Julia Geller, an employee. The victim's name was Jean Henry Houdin. He was the ringleader of the circus located at Trump Tower, and the owner of the small theater within said building. The cause of death was due to a blow to the back of the head. Okay, so it wasn't poison. The force of the single blow was enough to shatter his skull. Besides the victim, there were only 3 other people able to gain entry into his office at Trump Tower, the scene of the crime. The police named all 3 people as suspects before beginning their investigation. All the employees of Trump Tower are staffers, and they have been using their skills during their circus performances. Thanks to that, it didn't take long to figure out what those skills might be. There's the clown Julia Geller with her skill of telekinesis. Then comes the magician Frederick Vernon. Hey, that's like a normal name. And it's not a pun or anything as far as I can tell. Gifted with the skill of flames, okay, so pyromancy. Finally, we have the acrobat Oz Aston with her skill with ice. Oz sounds like a guy's name, but okay. Is this a chick? As the first to discover the body, Julia Geller became the prime suspect, but it's difficult to pin the crime on her. That's because the murder weapon was never found. Wait. What was the third chick's power. I sort of blacked out on that. Was he killed with ice? Anyway, no suspect was found leaving the scene of the crime, yet they weren't able to find anything resembling a murder weapon within the theater. On inspecting the body of the deceased, there's no questions that the murder weapon was large and heavy. It would normally be impossible to hide such a weapon. It was then made clear that one of the staffers used the skill to carry out the murder. That's when the police classified this as a phenomena. The case was handed over to the Manor Affairs Division. A disappearing murder weapon. Finding that might be the key to solving this case. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe he was like, you know, bludgeoned to death with a big hunk of ice and then it was melted. So would it be the pyromancer who would do that, or because he could make it melt quicker or something? If you're done reading up on everything, get ready to go, we're almost there. Seems like Tina and Brian beat us here, seeing as their car is already parked. So we don't have the log. I want to see what was the... yeah, okay. Yeah, skill with ice. So I guess classic. So flames and ice. So okay, I guess Aston would be the prime one suspect. I ordered them to secure the suspects and prepare them for questioning. Note, you can come with me to the scene of the crime. I need you to help me until those two get done with their job. Alright? Begins my first investigation with the Manor Affairs Division. Phenomena. A seemingly impossible incident involving the supernatural. Yet there exist clear rules that the supernatural powers and events must follow. Everything is documented. I can't forget that. Chain ice formation. How about, so was the victim, he wasn't a staffer then? Backstage. Trump Tower Theater, ringleader's office. Like, for me, when I see the word ringleader, I always assume it's like criminal cartel, because that's nowadays usually how the word is used. But yeah, it can also be the circus ringleader. This is because a circus is a ring. That's what the word means. It's Latin, I guess it's circus or something. This is the scene of the crime, the office of the victim, Hudan also listed as the lounge. So see, the room is both the lounge and the office. Quite luxurious for a lounge. Because the room is so spacious, they must have decided to use it for more than your average lounge. They say the victim spent most of his time here. And our culprit must have also known to come here if they wanted to find the victim. We're gonna look for clues here. Give me a hand. But I thought Detective Brian already finished the investigation of this room. Do we really need to do a second sweep? We do. Just like there are certain pieces of trace evidence only Brian can see, there are other clues that will only show up for me. Come to think of it, I haven't told you my skill, have I? Now that you're saying so, I guess you're a staffer too. What on earth sort of skill might you have? Contact memory recall. I can read memories of items with a single touch. It's commonly known as psychometry. You can read the memories of items? It's like the one of the sisters in Charmed, if you remember that 90s TV show. I don't really follow. I think it might be better to show you. You see that teacup on the table? Yeah, of course. I have a great deal of suspicions about that cup. Is that so? Indeed, it was right next to the body, meaning it could have been poisoned, no? But wasn't the victim bludgeoned to death? So I shall read into the memories of this suspicious teacup. She's just ignoring me now. Whoa, cool effect. Good, I read them. You're already done? Used your skill? What? Did you think I was gonna start glowing whenever I used my skill or something? That's rather ugly stereotype people have when it comes to staffers. The thought never crossed my mind. You probably didn't sense a thing. But just a second ago, the events of this cup experienced the past 72 hours just flashed through my mind. And out of all the events of the past 72 hours, only one or two memorable events remained planted in my brain. Memorable events? For example, with this particular cup, it's worth noting that the single memory of someone's lips touching the rim of the cup remained. That means no one drank coffee out of this cup for the past few days. Even so, if the copy had been poisoned, the victim had no chance to drink it. It seems so, though we know the victim was bludgeoned to death, so that was never a possibility in the first place. Of course, the thought never occurred to me. Do you understand what exactly my skill entails now? I do, but if your skill allows you to read the past of different objects, couldn't you just read the face of the culprit from objects' memories? I cannot. Sight isn't an option. Is she blind? Huh? There are only 3 senses I can get from an object. So it's fart, vomit, and piss. Sound, smell, and touch. I can't get a read on anything besides those 3. But put more simply, the cup doesn't have eyes, does it? It's sort of like that. The cup doesn't have ears, nose, or nerves either. I guess that's true. Well, it has ears. A cup has an ear. Since there's no visual information, the past I can siphon off is quite fragmented, yet what I can read helps out the investigation a great deal. When the Lady Luck shows her beautiful face, I can even hear the voice of the culprit. In those cases, I bet you can find the criminal in a heartbeat. We can. Not bad, huh? So shall we begin our investigation? I'll read the memories that remain in this room. You listen to my explanations, take note of the parts you think are important, and fashion them into a document. Use this. It's called a memory survey. So this is the document recording past memories left at the scene of the crime. There's a limit to the information we'll be able to glean from the past, yet this document will let us see this whole incident from a new perspective. Well then, let's begin. Find the information that'll be most useful to us. The important thing will be selecting which objects to survey. Tell me which objects scattered around the scene of the crime you'd like to investigate. Alright. This thing, memory survey. Oh, okay, we're still waiting. Flower pot. Alright, I'm gonna use my skill, so back off for a moment. The flower pot on the table fell off due to an intense tremor, which is how it seemed anyway. So there isn't much point in reading that. So this fell off the table due to an impact caused by the culprit. At the very least, we can tell the flower didn't live on and keep moving. That was too much. It felt wrong what I was saying. Maybe it was on the table, and when the guy died, he pushed it down. It felt wrong what I was saying. No, you're actually right on the mark. A while back, we caught a staffer who was able to control plants. The staffer manipulated a growth of vines to strangle her victim. I can't even tell a silly joke in this city. Read the memory of the sculpture. What is art exactly? At the very least, it's not a hideous block of stone. Shall we read into its memories? I see. It seems this was originally the bust of a human head. I can tell you the original shape for sure, but I can guess it was made in the victim's likeness. Huh? Why does it look so weird now? The shape was distorted by an extremely high temperature. Someone burned the bust of the victim. Well, that would suggest it's the pyromancer guy, but that's a bit too obvious. Maybe he burned it for another reason. How'd someone manage that? That's not exactly a flammable material. You think it was our culprit who did this, but why? Did someone confuse the bust of the victim? A bust with the victim? Sergeant, no one would confuse a statue for a person. Well, it might be possible if it had a cape draped around it. Sergeant, no one puts a cape on a bust. Note, one day you're gonna see a statue wearing a cape and you won't be surprised when you do. And won't you be surprised when you do? I'm not sure about that, but whoever made a bust like this was holding quite a grudge against the victim. At least that's one possibility. Okay, I can't check this. Bookshelf. I see quite a number of books that look difficult to comprehend. I bet there's a whole lot you need to know to run a theater. The victim sure was an outstanding person. You want me to read into it and see if that's the truth? That's not right. What is it? I read in the memory of the bookshelf, but I can't feel no changes. How far back into the memories can you go again? For specific memories I can only go back 3 days, but I'm just skimming the surface. About a month? He must have been busy these days. There are quite a number of people who view books in terms of adding to the look of a room. There are much cheaper decorations. 1 second, there's one that's been moved recently. Which book? Poker for pushovers, intermediate level. I'll be right back. AFK for a Okay, let's finish this investigation scene. I'm getting really hungry. I don't wanna die. Don't need to look into that one. Okay. Memory of the feather. Shouldn't I read into this feather? I hear death cries of a bird as if it is being ripped apart. The sounds of a blade digging into flesh. This feather was dropped with a flap of its wings. And this feather was dropped from a living bird? Since this is a theater used for a circus, I imagine it came from a pigeon used for the show. Speaking of which, a dead pigeon was found during the search for the murder weapon. This feather is probably from that pigeon. The feather probably stuck to the body of whoever killed the pigeon and then fell off whenever said person visited the scene of the crime. At least that's a fair assumption. So you think whoever killed the pigeon is our murderer? Probably. Having a live pigeon on your person could interfere with carrying out a crime. But the pigeon won't exactly bark like a dog or anything, so did the culprit really have to kill it? Oh no, London pigeons bark? What? I thought you were joking at first, but since the city has supernaturally gifted people in it, I feel like you might be telling the truth. Of course I'm joking. The pigeons here are just pigeons. So I'm not sure if creature pigeons can bark. Creature? More fantastical jargon. The fact that the sergeant throws all this jargon around like the words are commonplace is quite disconcerting. Okay. Carpet, read memory on the carpet. There's water stain on the rug here. At the very least we can tell it's not blood. Shall we get a read on it? I feel it feels hot, then slowly the moisture spreads, and the smell, is it black tea? After the liquid pooled, someone crossed through it. Thinking back to the footprints on the trace photo, that may have been Julia Geller. I didn't smell anything. Was the sergeant catching a smell from the past? After smelling the black tea from this memory, I suddenly feel like having a cup myself. Will you make me some note? I don't know how my tea would taste. I'm not much for tea. Are you being serious? I am. I prefer coffee to tea. That's because you haven't tried a cup of genuinely scrumptious black tea. I'd rather save the money on that genuinely scrumptious tea and buy a cup of genuinely scrumptious coffee instead. You have no intentions of changing your mind on this, have you? Nope. I mean, maybe. Well then, next time we meet, you may find we are enemies. What? Is this really that important to you? I like the characters, they're so stupid. In a funny way. That cup doesn't look at all suspect. It suffered a manner of disgrace, but at the end of that all suffering, its integrity was confirmed untainted. Miss Julia Geller was the one who brought this when she first came on the scene, correct? It seems likely. I don't think she was lying when she said she was bringing him the coffee the moment she discovered the body. The problem is the earlier 7:30 visit. Why did Geller visit the scene of the crime before bringing him coffee, and why hide the truth from us? I did say that we shouldn't point a finger at Miss Geller for this. We can also can't help but be suspicious. But how things stand now, the person most likely to have committed the crime is still Geller, unless we find other possibility. The blame will most likely fall on her in the end. Read the memory of the chair. That's the chair the victim was sitting in. I'll read into it. I hear a man snoring. It's quite loud. As the snoring continues, I feel a large impact. Then the snoring stops. So he was sleeping? That's the memory from the time the victim was murdered. Seems that way. Our murderer must have been aiming to take him out when he was sleeping. Could you tell me what that memory is from? I cannot. I only know that it happened roughly within the past 2 days. Surprisingly, these are quite inconvenient supernatural abilities. Watch your tongue. Sorry, yeah, because she knew I got tongue-tied. They aren't supernatural abilities, they're skills. Terminology is important. Be careful you don't mess it up. Right, as for the time of the crime, Brian's trace photo will be much more helpful than whatever I can give you. Shall we ask him to look into it later on? Okay, so one more. Memory of the dartboard, so that's the last thing. A dartboard, probably not related to crime, but shall we read into it? It's got darts stuck in it, however they weren't thrown by any normal hand. Ah, so it was thrown by Julia with her powers. It was something stronger, almost like they were shot out of a gun. Not just darts in it either, huh? These are playing cards? For instance, the King of Spades? Because there was the book, like the poker book or something. How to get playing cards stuck in a dartboard? I guess that's with Julia's powers? Well, magicians can throw cards like they're weapons. At least that's the image I'm getting. I'm not seeing that, so don't go framing it out quite yet. I think we have investigated everything worth looking into. You took a proper record of everything. This is a top-notch memory survey. Bookshelf, no memory issues for months. Grotesque statue, bust of victim. Yeah. Do the tremor. Does it mean that it's not pushed, like the vase is not pushed? It's tremor, like something slammed on the table so hard it caused a tremor. I think we found some oddities, but nothing with any clear connection to our case. Don't be too disappointed. Give it some time. Then you'll start to see the meaning behind the clues we just uncovered.
何か見落と
Still,
し
I
てい
feel
る気
like
が
we're
するんで
missing
す。
something. Isn't there
チー
anything
ム
that
長は気に
stands
なる
out
と
to
こ
you,
ろ。
Sergeant?
そうね。
Well, if I had to pick
あ
one
えて
thing,
言うなら、
maybe the ceiling.
天井
The ceiling.
です
What
か。
about it? Oh, there's blood.
そう。
You see?
よく見る
If
と、
you look carefully, you see
天
there's
井に
blood
血
on the
がつい
ceiling.
普通、天井に血
When
が
we
つくの
find
は、
blood on the ceiling,
犯
most
行中の
often
取っ
it
組
means
み
the
合いのせ
victim
い
or
よ。
the assailant got into physical
犯人が
altercation.
血の
Blood
ついた
splatter
凶
usually
器を振り
comes
かざ
off
して、
the
天井
backswing of
に
an
血が飛
already
び散る
bloodied
から。
weapon.
ですが、被害者は
And in
即
this
死で
case,
した
the
よね。
victim was killed with
死
a
体に
single
は取っ
blow,
組み合
no?
いの跡がありませんでした
We
し。
found no signs of struggle on the corpse.
そうね。
Precisely,
だ
which
から
is
あ
why
の
that
血は
blood splatter
不自
feels
然
out
な
of
のよ。
place.
記憶を読み取りたい
I'd
と
love
こ
to
ろ
get
だ
up
けど、
there and read his memory, but
厳
that
しいわね。
would be no easy feat.
劇
Maybe it's
場だか
because
ら
this
か、
is a theater,
天
but the
井の
ceiling
高
is
さは
about
5メ
5
ートル。
meters up.
血がついた天井
There's
か。
blood in the ceiling.
何？ユリア・ゲラーの取り調べの準備が終わったよ。
Pandy,
すぐ
Julia
始めよ
Geller
う
is
か？
ready for questioning. Would you like to get started?
今の声はテ
The
ナさ
voice was
ん
that
です
Detective
か。
Tina.
ああ、
Yeah, her voice
こ
is
こから
coming
聞こ
from
えてい
me.
るの。
Oh,
無線か。
the walkie-talkie.
取り調べはどこで進め
Where
る
will
つも
we
り？
carry out the investigation? Interrogation,
容
rather.
疑者たちの控え室。
We got a suspect in the green
暗く
room.
て狭くてぴったりだと
The
思うけ
small
ど。
dark space makes it perfect, don't you think? Okay, but I don't know why. The spoon, I guess, is Julia's symbol. But I guess I'm gonna have to end the stream here before I starve to death. So alas, I won't be able to solve the case yet. But I'm liking the game so far. I think I think the story sort of moves naturally and the characters are interesting, a bit out there and stuff, but not in a bad way. And the staffer stuff is interesting. Just the names are horrendous. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'm Adventure Argonaut, all that good stuff. Bye bye.